Yes. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to episode 68 of the Trinity podcast. Yes, that bomb today with a little bit more heat behind it. Yeah,
a lot more heat. Can we say this is Flex on? Is Flex part of the Trinity?
Yeah. I mean, we've got today. We've got Mr. the Comedian, KG the Comedian. Got myself and at this point, I think sort of the unofficial fourth member of the Trinity.
Yeah, seems so.
Tier 1 James. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's
James.
kind of
because you know what's happened now. Yeah, Flex is giving Luke Shaw when it comes to the Trinity. I mean, he's gonna be fit for the finals. It's gonna be fit for maybe fit for Arsenal, but I'm starting to ask questions. Is all I'm saying. I'm starting to ask questions on an availability thing. And that's the best of it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is indeed. We've got a lot to discuss today, folks. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And be sure to show love to KG Reckless Sports and also the Muppets. Everyone hitting their goals. That's what we want to see across the summer. Big summer of football. We're going to be talking once again about goalkeepers today. It feels like there's a lot of goalkeeper chatter going on when it comes to Manchester United. Today, we're hearing more of these rumours and reports suggesting that Manchester United are going to be talking to Aston Villa soon about Martinez, £40 million. And you're hearing that Julien Laurent in France is saying that already Aston Villa, they're going after the Lille goalkeeper. How do you say it? Chevalier. For around, you guessed it, £40 million. I wonder where they're going to get. That money from. There's also reports suggesting that Andre Onana could be on his way, possibly to Monaco. But just in the last few minutes, Gianluca Di Marzio saying that if Onana does go to Monaco, maybe Manchester United might be looking at the Atalanta goalkeeper, and that's an even harder name to say. Carnesecchi, I'm going to go with. That could be someone that Ruben Amorim likes as well. James, I'll start with you. Tier 1, James. This morning, and I know you will sympathize with this. I did the transfer show this morning, and I said, this is what's out there. They're saying that Martinez, United are interested in him. I got a lot of pushback. The Man United fans, when they say don't shoot the messenger, I still have bullet holes that are steaming in me right now.
Every single day.
James goes through that. He has to suffer that.
You gotta have the bandages on file for delivering transfer news.
Yes, all the time. What do you make of all of this? The look for the goalkeeper. I remember you mentioned before that Amorim wasn't happy, maybe with Onana, but Martinez, 40 million quid. Surely that's a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, well, look, my information has been for the whole season that they've wanted new goalkeepers, if they can. But at the same time, that moving Onana is going to be very difficult, mostly because who's going to make an offer for him that will work? Now, there's a little talk of Monaco today, right? There's a couple of things coming out. I don't know whether that's true or not yet. There's obviously have just come out from Goalkeeper and Di Marzio, so you'd imagine there's some truth in it. If they could sell him, but is Martinez the right replacement? Like you said, 33 years old, that kind of money. They've been looking at mostly younger keepers all season. We've heard the name Lamens a lot. It's a really solid name that they've been scouting and watching as a younger keeper. They looked at James Trafford, the Burnley goalkeeper, and tried to sign him even before January. They tried to sign him to come in and be the number 2 and compete. But he wanted a number 1 spot and was looking for that promotion with Burnley. And now Newcastle are interested in him too. Chevalier, funnily enough, is somebody United have been watching for years. So I'm looking at that and going, why would you not just go get him instead of buying Martinez for the same amount of money? Because he's a highly rated keeper. We've kind of made that mistake before, buying the player that's going to be replaced by the other club. Why not just go get the guy that they're going to sign in the first place? But then maybe you don't have if you're going to sell Onana anyway, you're not selling him to Aston Villa. So why do you have to deal with Aston Villa at all? I think this one there's a lot of noise that's probably not solid yet. I'm not particularly yet optimistic that Onana will be leaving. I do think that there's a good chance we get a keeper of some sorts who will come in and clean up for him, do some competition and probably take over from him. But I think it's more likely going to be something like that than someone like Martinez, in my opinion.
I know when KG's in a comment, and it was this. I knew as soon as that came up and he started giggling.
What the hell? No, I said, what the hell? That song is the funniest song out there because it literally just all the emotion. What the hell? Anyway, that's how
KG, what do you think?
That's how I feel about the window, though. When you think about the keepers, it is what the hell? When you hear the price, 40 million is mental. 40 million is ridiculous. I don't even understand that price. Why? As in, we're trying to get for a young Garnacho. That's what we asked for. Well, that's the starting price. What the hell is that? This guy.
Asking for Rashford as well, apparently 40 million.
They couldn't even manage the 40. They couldn't even do that for Rashford anyway. So, what is this? Now, if that goes down, this is because they're in financial problems. I'm hoping it's noise. You kind of like how Frankfurt are making noise about the likes of Hugo Ekitike. They can't get that. I'm throwing it out there. As the weeks go on, the price, the rawness of their PSR situation has to come to the fore. These guys have to sell. The Champions League qualification was really important for them. You're gonna say the price that we're seriously looking for, but then when we have it right, the price you're gonna get, Man United will not pay 40 million for this player. It's like the stuff of when he started talking about the Mbeumo, when Mbeumo's price was something like 80 million when they started talking about it earlier, and then after the real price raises its head. I think it's going to be one of those situations where we are really interested in the keeper. I think the price tags made us feel a certain way. For 20 million, 25 million, I'm taking Emi Martinez all day. I'm taking him because you're not going to convince me he's rubbish. I think we need a little bit of bastard, a bit of character in our team. Save a couple of penalties, be a bit commanding when it comes to corners and stuff. He does come with the near mistake. But again, as people are saying, that's not all Man United's problems. But then at least you can say he's going to pull off saves to keep you in the game. Onana will take you out the game earlier than expected. Way earlier than expected. Now, that Rasmus Højlund one does red flag. When he takes out Rasmus Højlund,
red flag.
When he does that, because he should have the sense to think, that's Rasmus Højlund. He's not going anywhere. He's not scoring. I can relax. I don't need to Goldberg him. Are you with me? So, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I was kind of saying this morning with Martinez. I'm not against the signing per se. I'm not against the signing because I think he's an upgrade on Onana, but then you can make an argument that most goalkeepers
who isn't,
yeah, exactly, would be an upgrade on Andre Onana, but he's not 40 million quid's worth of an upgrade, particularly when Chelsea were negotiating for the AC Milan goalkeeper for 21 million, and they walked away because that was too expensive. So how are we looking at Emi Martinez, 33 in September, with a team that's got PSR issues for 40 million pounds? That just doesn't make any sense to me. That's why that is kind of like my reservation of, if you look at the signings that Ineos have done since they're in charge, or Jason Wilcox has done since he's been in control of that. You know, there was a piece in The Athletic today written about Jason Wilcox. And you look at all the prices that we have signed people for. You know, it's about getting that good value for money. The price point is like 30 million to the highest they would go is maybe like high 40, maybe even just over 50 in the case of like Ugarte. And that's for a midfielder who's still in his younger years, not a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers are less anyway.
33 years old,
33. It just surely not. But it does say to me though, James, like that goalkeeping position, as much as I think it was Romano that was saying that, Ruben Amorim's happy with Andre Onana. Surely he can't be.
Look, and it's really funny because we did this dance 2 years ago. I did this exact dance with David De Gea 2 years ago. And it was a very weird year because I spent the whole season hearing from my side, they're not happy with De Gea. They're not happy with De Gea. And all season was like, nah, De Gea's staying. We're happy with De Gea. They even almost signed a new contract. You remember that? And it was like,
Yeah.
no, De Gea's agreed a new contract. And then it was like, no, actually, they've been like, here's a new contract. And then yoinked it back.
Even Ten Hag in press conferences is going, he'll stay.
Yeah. And I feel like we're doing the same dance 2 years later, where I know for a fact that they're not happy with Onana. And here's the thing about it, right? How could you be? Like, let's just be logical for a second. Everybody watched last season. Everybody watched the season before. There's no way they watched it and said, we're good with Onana. We're happy with Onana. There's no way. You've seen Ruben Amorim on the sidelines, how stressed he is 24/7. He cannot, when those mistakes happen, it's like catastrophe. I mean, and they'll give different reasons and things like that. But I think that, there's no way they're happy with it. And I also think that Martinez on the agent side is doing some heavy lifting here to push this a little bit more than what it is. And you'll see this a lot this summer, I think, with United, because they're not saying anything. They're not doing you're not getting these briefs every 3 days. United are doing X, Y, and Z. United are talking to this player. United, you're getting none of it. And that's why everybody's like, oh, it's quiet. We're not doing anything. It's silent. It's slow. But that's just because these guys don't care to talk anymore. The people that are in place now, they really don't talk anymore. So everything's coming from the agent side, right? So we saw, like with Liam Delap, it was like constant stories because the agent is somebody who talks a lot, and it was like, this club's interested in these 4 clubs, and made it to be like, this American Idol like competition for Liam Delap from the agent side. Well, United were certainly not interested in briefing much about it. And it's the same thing with Martinez. When they talk to these agents, a lot of times it's just, what's the situation with the player? Are they leaving? What's the price? What's the wages? Do they have a deal to go somewhere else? It's the same with Ekitike. It's the same with Martinez. It's the same with a number of the players we've been linked with. And then because there's nothing coming out, it's getting blown up to be like bigger than it is. So I don't think it's a serious topic yet, Martinez, at all. I think it's just a name.
Oh no, I think
just a name.
I don't think that's the case at all. I think Man United are going to try their best to get a deal, and a club that's in financial constraints they're trying. So personally, this is just my feelings. I feel that
it's just his KG tier 9 sources versus
tier 9. Actually, I think I went up in the tier list.
7. You went 7 because you shook David Ornstein's hand. Yeah, exactly.
He follows me back. So got a picture of him. Hold on, I'm tier 6 actually. From a tier 6 source, not checked anywhere, just vibes. I'm saying that they're gonna They're gonna try and see how desperate Aston Villa are, and send in a cheeky one.
I don't disagree with you there, by the way. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's particularly advanced at the moment, but also because of the numbers going around. But if they throw 20 million at it, I think they would take him at 20 and say, we don't even have to sell Onana to do that, because we need a goalkeeper this summer, no matter what.
Onana will leave though, because he's not. Onana's not going to look at somebody like Martinez pull up and stay. He's not foolish.
But that could push him. Yeah. That could push him out. That might be the strategy, is to push him out that way. I could see that happening.
And I would be
Monaco.
I'd be fine with that. I'd be
Monaco, get that tax-free,
Even didn't they say that wasn't Saudi interested in that one stage?
Yeah, not really though. It's not been solid. Like, there was talk from that club Neom or whatever, NEOM.
Yeah.
But that's not real. There was nothing in it.
I just can't 40 million. I would just in a market whereby good goalkeepers are going for like 10 million, 15 million. Again, the Chelsea said no to Mike. How do you say his last name? Always Magnan.
Well, why don't we just do that?
Million. Yeah, exactly.
We've been following him for years too. We tried to buy him like 3 years ago. We put in an offer like 3 years ago for him. Why don't we just buy him?
Yeah, unless he's got something about Champions League football, I don't know, because that's also the line as well. I mean, Martinez doesn't care about Champions League football; he just wants to go to United. I don't get it. But I guess watch this space closely when it comes to goalkeepers, because Onana, maybe his days are numbered indeed at United. Dwayne says a under 25 hungry goalkeeper is number 2. I like the Lille goalkeeper. And Ash has been with him for 35 months. Says I agree with James, but I think we could actually negotiate down on Martinez. Am I the only one who sees the positive in Rashford staying? Sancho and Højlund got to go. Is Ash the only one?
He's not staying.
Taking the piss.
It's not even worth discussing, I think, because he's not going to stay. That's the thing.
This was something, though, that there was a story that came up this morning. And the source is questionable, but I think it's a good discussion. If you were in charge of Manchester United, well, say you're Ruben Amorim, KG, I'll start with you, and you're picking the players you want to bring with you on the tour for the US. Of course, both of you guys will be there. Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony. Do you leave them all at home? Do you say, thanks, guys, but you're not going to be going with us because your future doesn't lay here? What would you do, KG?
I've been quick on the draw, and I've made sure everything's sorted out. These players have found clubs. I think it's great that Nico to Barcelona's done. I think that's a great bit of business, because Rashi and his family members, they have to decide what they're doing with their lives. And I'm excited about hearing Rashford rumors, because the rumors, smoke about fire and stuff. I'm waiting to hear Rashi, AC Milan, Rashi, Bayern Munich, Rashi. I want to hear those kind of stories. Now, we heard a good one today about Juve and Jadon Sancho. So you're starting to hear nice rumors. We don't know if it's true, but they're nice all the same to listen to. Anthony wants to take a pay cut.
Is this like you being lied to again? You like to be lied to?
No, but these are. I'll tell you, these are true. These are true. These are
Good.
true rumors. From my perspective, from my information, these are true. Especially the Anthony one. That one's actually probably that's closer than the other ones at the moment. There's been real talks between the clubs. Yeah.
I love that, because I know that something could be happening. We might not be further down, but conversations have been had. When you hear nothing and then it's near the end, it's like, well, where do we send him? We're getting on a plane now, lads. I don't want these guys on the plane to fully answer your question. I don't want none of these guys jumping on a plane talking about remontada and the fans believing that they have I don't want us to be arguing about the same shit for the next 3 years again. Oh, look what Rashi can do for us. Look at that goal. No. It's over, guys. He wants out. Let's let him. He has our blessing. Thank you for your time and your service. We appreciate you, Rashford. All the best with your career.
Would you do the same, James? Just leave him out?
Yeah, I would. I would either way, because I think that you need a smaller squad for next season. There's no Europe. There's no point in bringing players who aren't going to play a part in that team, which is not the intention for any of them to play a part in that team. You're better off bringing what you've got and the youth and seeing who can make an impact. Like, any minutes you're giving in preseason, you want to be giving to these young players when you're not playing the guys who are the for sure first teamers. You want to give it to the young players. Diego Leon will be arriving at some point this summer. Do we give him some minutes instead of giving it to somebody else, to play in that team to see if he can do something? You've got guys from the academy, who would be looking to step up this season and are looking to make Mentato and all that, looking to step up and make an impact. I'd much rather say you see them get those minutes than players aren't in the plans, because what's the point? This is the season to do this, one game a week. We're not going to have to do much rotation. So if there are extra minutes, let's give it to some of these kids and get them into the first team as well. So I definitely would leave them at home. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would. I said this morning that it was deemed that this was Amorim being ruthless and what have you. I just think it might also be United sort of learning from their mistakes of the past, because we did try this last year with Sancho, didn't we? Of like, let's play nice, put him in the shop window, show that everything's okay, because yes, we still want to sell, but could be a situation where it makes it more difficult to negotiate. And I think we realized that it just doesn't matter. You just got to be ruthless and move them on.
And I think one of the main things for Ruben is this time he's almost kind of snookered himself with how bad the season was. And he has to get these guys to believe again. He has to be able to get these lot to everyone to buy in to what he's selling, right? And the only way you're going to do that is with no dissenting voices. So if the guys that know they're not going to be here, they're not listening the same in the preseason meetings or when we turn up for anything that we turn up for, tactical, anything, they're not engaging the same because they don't have a future at the club. Now, when you have a whole team that's there, you go on this trip and you say, hey guys, everything before, forget about it. This is the new Man United. As he said, the storm's over. All that good stuff that he said to the fans, those players have to buy in. No, but they have to buy in. This is the only way it works. They literally have to buy into the philosophy and wholeheartedly believe in it. It's the only way this is going to work. You add your sprinkles of the Cunha, hopefully an Mbuemo, hopefully a striker, hopefully Paulinho on loan. Don't mind that. You start to add these kind of players. Paulinho on loan. Apparently, they've been talking about from Bayern. You know that?
You said that? No.
I've been hearing that.
There was a little rumors going around. Yeah. A couple of little ones.
Yeah, because he's surplus the requirements, and we've got a good relationship with Bayern. Tier 6 vibes. Yeah,
that's what I was worried about.
He's also a former, Ruben Amorim midfielder. So
there you go. So,
well, I would say on that, by the way, just to cut in, like he does fit this thing they're kind of looking for. Some people don't like this archetype of player for sure, but Ruben Amorim does. Guy who runs around a lot, covers a lot of ground, makes a lot of tackles, very physical presence in the midfield. Not the most progressive on the ball, type of player, but probably have Bruno Fernandes in the midfield this season. So I'm expecting that they really want someone to come in and, to use the phrase people use, just kick some shins and win the ball back and give it to somebody else. So, maybe.
It's not a bad play. I don't think that's bad. I think Paulinho he's not, is he rubbish now? When he was at Fulham and he was getting to Bayern, why don't we get him? I remember the same people. Shit. In one season, he's shit, but then it's fine. You lot are right once again. Whatever.
You've been arguments with yourself, KG.
No, I don't understand because we go from this guy's good. Why Man United looking for Paulinho? Last season when he was at Fulham.
There you go, KG.
I recognize the names though. To be fair, it's the same ones that go in my chat. They just hate these midfielders.
It's the same thing though. Honestly, the same thing. We valued him before. I remember the Sander Berg versus Ugarte talks. Some people were serious Sander Berg fans. Other people were like Sander Berg from that team from Burnley, and now Sander Berg's the better player.
This is my point. It's my point, KG. This is why I said like this morning when I was did the stuff this morning about the Martinez stuff. Went, this is what's being out there. I'm not even joking, KG. I got criticized this morning for talking about transfers on a transfer show. And I went, this is getting too much for me. This is getting too much.
It's not the only place. It happens on every other planet.
Why are you talking about transfers? It's transfer fee. I mean, what did you expect? I wasn't going to, it'd be weird if I talked tactics.
Worry,
you know what I mean?
It's not just our fan base that do it as well. I was
like,
splash out for Noni Madueke. It was really funny, actually. That was fun to watch. They was really upset with the people delivering the news of the rumor.
Dwayne with the super chat says, bring the French magic Mike. Need that. Dwayne also says, boys, pack your bags and don't let the door hit you. RK says, if Ruben does not get his pieces before the season starts, it's done. There is big chance he doesn't survive the international break if we don't start well. Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. And Jamudi says, I understand he needs to go, but we need to stop being disrespectful to Marcus, Owen, KG, and Flex. I'm looking at you. Sometimes we forget what the kid has done for us. Show more respect, guys, please.
Can I mention something on that? Because this is a crazy thing, and I would tend to agree with this. I'm very respectful of Marcus, but no, look, I said this on my stream the other way, and people lost it on it. Some people really didn't like it, and some people were very surprised by it. Marcus Rashford cost United over the course of his entire career less than Rasmus Højlund has already. And so when you look at what he's done for us, which is a lot, being here over 10 years, won a lot of trophies, not the big ones, but
less than Rasmus. What do you say? I don't say that again.
He's cost the club less than Rasmus Højlund has already.
How do you mean? What are you trying to
Because
say?
we spent
Because we didn't
72
spend
million.
anything on his
Yeah.
fee.
Oh,
So the
that's-
wages, this total career earnings and wages is less than just Rasmus Højlund's transfer fee. Okay. So when you talk about people, and I think where some people have taken issue with is they look at like the discourse around a player, and it's like, oh, Rashford, you're shit, get the hell out of my club. But you want to give like young players time who we purchased for 72 million, and Rashford's wages get brought up a lot, things like that. I think that when you make that comparison, you think value for money. I think we can all nicely let Rashford depart on good terms as fans. You know what I mean? And I think that's okay to say, look, he's done a lot for us.
Hold
What
on.
about
wait.
Value
Garnacho,
for
James?
money, he's
What-
done a
what
lot.
What about
Garnacho?
Garnacho?
Garnacho's done fuck all for us, okay?
Wow.
See, I knew I was going to say the Garnacho thing.
You
I
knew
was
what
going to
you
get
were
it.
doing. You
Yeah,
knew what you were doing.
I was gonna-
Check this out. It's really funny that people have these things to say. But then, you know what? We go into little conversations like this. Anyone that's been watching this channel for a very long time,
Yeah.
you're either stuck to an opinion or your new opinion is the opinion that they're going with. For instance, before Rashford decided to just take the piss, yeah, I have loved Marcus Rashford.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Beginning,
Longer than
I know.
anyone else, yeah.
I know.
all the way. But guess what? The first feelings you had about Rashford, they don't matter. Cut him some slack. Be kinder to him. It's not fair he's been treated like this, even though you've been backing this guy to the hill. But that doesn't matter. The last thing you said is what matters. But then a player like Xerxes, who you cuss early and say, oh, I'm not sure about him, don't like him. That first thing you said, oh, we're nailing. That's the last thing. Whatever you said here, that's how you feel. Even when you update and say, hey, guys, I was wrong. Actually, I missed it on Xerxes, but it doesn't matter because whatever the narrative suits, now all of a sudden we hate Rashford and we need to be kinder to him. This guy has been given, and I don't even hate him, time after time after time. Yeah? So many. Even when it was Rashford versus Martial, Team Rashford. The whole time, my nephew, I've loved Marcus Rashford. I even believed in Rashford to turn it around again last season. And then guess what? He gave up on the club. When we needed Rashford most, he decided he don't want to play football no more. But everyone's rebranded it as something else. He didn't want to play football no more, waiting for the window to be open, effed off to Aston Villa. But we needed him. Where was he? But oh my God, treat him with respect. He's on 350K. He's the highest paid player at the club. Did he help the team? Absolutely not. Why should we respect him? Because he's a big part of that 15-part situation. And all he's been doing, pimping himself out to all the clubs in Europe to look for a home when he should be fighting for the club. Get out. Get out. And then
I remember
he don't deserve no grace, bro. This guy's that's criminal, bro. He should be fighting for the badge, and he gave up the badge because he didn't want to try hard enough. At least you can say Garnacho fixed up. Yes, he had a little falling out with the manager, but he tried. This guy gave up and sat in the stands the whole time. I'm not having it. No way.
I remember when you want to talk about the respect for the Rashford stuff. I remember when that stuff was going on in January, I said on one of the shows, and this, I suppose it's kind of echoing what you're saying, James, when Marcus Rashford, if you offered his career to pretty much any academy player right now, they'd be like, I'll take that. Play a bunch of times for United, won a bunch of trophies. Is it a success? Well, if you compare it to, the class of 92 academy players, no, but we're also not that team that we were when those class of 92, what they turned us into. So in terms of a career, if you say has he had a good Man United career? Yeah, he has had a good career, but still, he can have a good career and it's still over. This idea, Marcus Rashford isn't going to be this one club man. The time's up at Manchester United for him. Ruben Amorim knows it. I think probably the last few managers probably knew it as well. When you hear these things about discipline and what have you, and going out to Belfast and then calling in sick, training the next day, that what was laughable is people going, oh yeah, who hasn't done that? Well, who isn't, a footballer that's on 350K a week? Bit of a different analogy, isn't it? So yeah, it's over. And this goes back to my point I was speaking about this morning, and this is exactly proved with the emotion that's brought out now, which is this is exactly why Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, I don't want them on the tour because whenever you bring up their name, what does it lead to? This. And after like 2 or 3 years, I'm tired of it. I don't have any more energy for, well, maybe you can get back in the team, or maybe you should go. Amarim's the problem. Ten Hag's the problem. Rashford's the problem. Anthony's the problem. This, that. I don't have the energy.
A lovely career at Man United, and I'm proud of what he's done for the club. And when he comes back, he's Manc born and bred. Yeah, so we'll never forget what Rashford's done for this club. That can be true. It's just over, and that's it. We can all admit that it's over. The day that he went to Aston Villa instead of playing for us and was trying to get Aston Villa into the Champions League football, it's over, guys. Now we want to, like, it's like the Man United fans that are still.
To be honest, KG, it was over before that. It was over when Ruben Amorim decided that he didn't want him at the club anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I'm saying as soon as he end up at Villa, like, it's done. He's in another.
It was done before then. It was done. I mean, I think he probably thought it was done after the FA Cup final. To be honest,
but that's
allegedly that's why he's crying.
That's icing on the cake. Like, you know, it's ridiculous, man. You heard what's that guy that's always around the club, and he says many managers have had issues with Rashford. United. What is his name?
The only thing, Andy. The only thing I take with that is that the last 2 managers gave him a new contract. So they had issues, but they also both gave him a new contract. You know, and I think that it's sort of like this. Look, I think the reality of it is, to a degree, what we all need is what's the word for it? I don't know what the word for it is, but we all need a bit of a clean slate with United. And I feel like it starts from this summer for real. It's the first real season under new ownership, under new management, with the new executive team in place. You hear Omar Barada talking about that. They have the executive team, they have the technical team, they have the coaching team. It's been such chaos and madness at United for so long now, so many years of change, of everything going crazy over so much time. We've had better players than Marcus Rashford end up at odds with the club. Paul Pogba ended up very much at odds with the club. Anthony Martial ended up at odds with the club. De Gea ended up at odds with the club. We've had a lot of players end up at odds with the club and the fans over the last 10 years. And I feel like it would be healthy for all of us to just take a clean slate this summer. Everybody goes and just say, let's just start fresh. This is it. This is season 1 for real.
And we wish you well.
And we wish everybody the best.
Yeah. I don't wish Rashford to have a bad career. I don't wish any injury on him, because United, like, I remember that story. That fever story mode is Rashford's. It's his story. It really came in, wasn't supposed to play, and people get injured, and he does a madness, and then he just never stops, and then he does this amazing work for charity. Like, it's a brilliant story. Rashford, everything he's done to that point has been fantastic. The only thing is, he just outgrew Man United. If he's been here for too long and he needed a new environment, I think and the standards at the club, the culture at the club was not going to allow him to thrive in it, because the culture has been so off. No one's paid the correct attention to it. So the club has failed Rashford at times, but Rashford has also failed Rashford. Of course. You know, and now we're saying, hey guys, we want to start again. You go with our blessing. We're not going to forget, but go and do your thing. Totally different to Trent. Totally different to any, like, all that other stuff. Rashford, go on, boy. See you later.
A couple more super chats here. Mason says, bring on Emmy, lad. Super Arch says, no KG. The club came up on his first sale offer. And do you want that super chat proves my point, that these things, we're never going to agree on them. It's going to forever be that. Chimundi says, James knows more. I can't wait for him to come out with it all. All I'm saying is, look at the venom in which you speak about him. It's fucked up, KG. Your venom is your venom. Your venom is too much, KG.
A player should be a player.
You are venom.
No, a player should want to fight. Yes, you are. A player should want to fight for this badge, and if he doesn't understand that, that's his problem. That's KG, your venom's coming out. Your venom's coming out again. We had to go into the season
kind of looking a bit venomish.
Players. We had to go into the season. There was 10 games before he got transferred. Is that right? Am I correct in saying that? Before he left the club, there was like 6-7 games or something crazy where we could have used him, and he could have just apologized. Whatever was going on with Ruben, Garnacho got back in and he did it.
I'm not sure that was the case, though, unfortunately. I think it's a bit more than that. No. I don't think there was a way back for him from November, because
something serious happened.
Yeah. I think it was done. Like, it was done from November, and that was it.
Well, and also actually look at the comments that Sir Jim gave about him in that interview with Gary Neville, when he was asked, did you support that decision about Rashford and Ruben Amorim? He said yes, and he said why? He went, because Ruben wants people that are totally committed to the club, and he was kind of, I think, alluding to some things there. And again, it's over. Yeah. Chamundi says, it's all good. You're right. Yeah. He needs to go. I just don't like the disrespect. That's all. Hurts me to hear the hate in everyone's voie.
I hate him. I'm disappointed.
Kind of, yeah.
I hate him. I'm disappointed.
Venom. There's a lot of venom there. We'll talk about Jadon Sancho in a bit because there's a Sancho story that's just coming up from Darmash. There was a super chat earlier on talking about
Darmashev, you mean?
Darmashev. Yes, that's his name. Darmashev. Just one word. It's like Adele. Just Darmashev is his name. The fixtures came out this week. Opening game of the season, Arsenal at home. In the first, 5 games, we've got to play Arsenal, City, and Chelsea. James, I'll start with you. I mean, it's too early maybe to get predictions, but how are you feeling about that? I think Opta said it's the most difficult start out of anyone in the Premier League, according to their statistics.
Yeah.
Is Ruben in a bit of bother?
I would actually maybe think of it as the opposite. Is it easier to beat Arsenal in August or in December? And I would say August, because they're not going to be up and running in the same way. A lot of teams have slow starts, right? Like you see around September, every September, everybody goes, oh my God, Tottenham are winning the league, because Arsenal start slow, City start slow, Liverpool start a little slow, and some other teams coming up and running with it, right? And that's why nobody wins the league in August. Nobody wins the league in September. I think it's easier to play those teams earlier on because they're also going to be in a state of flux, a state of change. If you've got Zubamendi comes into the midfield and, City changing all these players around, things like that. They're also, City over at the Club World Cup, Chelsea at the Club World Cup, tons of changes, tons of new signings, all of those kind of things. They're probably not going to be as ready as we are for the season to start, I would suggest. But they're obviously better than us. If I were to choose, it would be now versus later to play them. But at the same time, the problem is you lose. You start the season on a negative note in those first few weeks, and that momentum can hurt. It would certainly be nicer on the overall perspective to play some easy teams in the beginning. But then again, they probably see it the same way. You play United in your first week, and they're not ready to play yet, and you beat them, then it's even worse if you lose to there's no shame if we lose to Arsenal and to City. There's no shame in it. It may feel bad, but there's no shame in it. If we lose in the first week to I don't know, Burnley or something, then we're really in trouble, aren't we?
We can't have more than 7 to 8 losses next season.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Anything that's out of order. 7 is crazy. Yeah. Really, 5, 6 should be maximum. We experienced 15. Was it more? Am I getting crazy? It's more than 15, I think. I don't know.
I can't remember at this point, KG. Yeah,
it's over. It's over.
When we've said KG, and it shouldn't, but it will. The result, because of the pressure, because of the season and everything like that on, Amorim, the results in pre-season are going to be scrutinized. The performances in pre-season are going to be scrutinized. Let alone 18. Let alone the first game of the season against Arsenal, KG. I mean, for you, that's everything. I mean, that is the KG, the Canadian football match.
No, I've learned. No.
No, you haven't. You haven't learned.
No, because even though I hate Arsenal, I don't think we're going to win that game. I've gone into that thing saying that's a loss already, early. I've done that.
Well, really? You're saying from today it's a loss?
Yeah, it's a loss. A loss.
Really?
The only reason why I feel great about this game is if we get all the pieces in. How I feel right now with what we have right now with just Cunha, we're not winning that game. Now, if we do the business and we have a great preseason, I will try to believe. But I'm still at the moment where I am personally, just me as a fan, where am I personal? I'm not sure about Amorim. I really want the system to work, but I haven't seen it get the best out of certain players yet. And we haven't done the business to make him excel with the players because he couldn't do enough with the players that he had. He's got the time to prove me wrong. That's it. So I hope he can, but I did witness 17 losses last season. So if anyone is expecting me to just be like super positivity and deludedness, I can't do that right now just because of what happened. Now, signings will help though. Signings definitely help.
Yeah, about the delusion. To be fair, even that, it's like, let's say hypothetically, to James's point, it's first game of the season, Arsenal, maybe they're not as ready, or things can happen earlier on because the opening game of the season doesn't determine anything. I mean, we've lost opening games of the season and won the league. City did it actually quite recently. Teams lose actually quite often at the start of the season, then go on strong in the second half of the season. Even if we got a positive result in that first game, I'd still be looking to like City away at the Etihad, Chelsea at home going, I'm still worried about those. You know what I mean? I still be worried.
We didn't lose the big games though, really.
I know. Those three, Arsenal at home, we drew. City away, we won. Chelsea at home, we drew, didn't we? Yeah.
The manager said it, and that was the point that he made. And that's why they got to believe into this new thing that he puts to these players. We now have to win the easy games. He said the easier games, they don't turn up in. And that's why I want a whole new mentality. That's why I got out the old and bring in fresh. This is why I'm like, I don't want to tell you Sancho, Rashford again. These guys have been used to losing. They've experienced too much of it. You need to freshen up the pack with at least 6-7 players that don't feel like that Man United. The way Cunha's excited wearing a Man United shirt in Brazil, playing five-a-side. You want that infectious energy. People happy to be here, happy to be in the shirt, happy to be, wanting to impress the Old Trafford faithful. You need that sometimes. These faces will bring a different, good energy, and it might reinvigorate the squad. I'm not blaming idiot. I'm not blaming Rashford. I'm saying fresh.
It's the venom. The venom's coming back out, KG. The venom's coming back out.
Energy. I'm not blaming one player. I'm saying venom. If the whole team is used to losing, you have to change up the pack, and you can get rid of certain players, and just it will help. That's all.
If someone can on Twitter now, like, do a quick AI of KG as Venom, that would be greatly appreciated. Just putting that call to arms out there at the moment. Semex Football says Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho need pushing out. They're too comfortable and dictate terms like I will only go to Barca, which weakens our team's negotiating power. Dwayne says 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss out of the first 5 games. Trust me, guys. Dwayne also says worried more about the smaller teams than the big ones. Thandiza says United conceded 13 goals more than Liverpool and 7 more than Newcastle. Biggest issue was scoring goals. Cunha and Mbumo and Gyökeres will make us a top 6 side. And Jason's been remembered for a month says it looks like we're only selling 1 first team starter in Garnacho from last season. We finished 15th. That's disgraceful. In my opinion, more need to be sold. Well, speaking of people leaving, there's a bit about Jadon Sancho. Damashev has said that Juventus have explored the conditions of a deal for Jadon Sancho. They will formally approach Manchester United if they believe a move is realistic, and they are in touch with Sancho's representatives over personal terms. Do you think that could be a realistic one, James? Do you think Sancho to Juve?
Yeah, I do. He's definitely open to Italy, which is good. They don't quite have, I've seen it go around a little bit. They used to have this really, really favorable tax law, which on wages, which helped. That's not true anymore. That law expired, but they still have better tax rates in general. So it's still better a little bit on the wages. And the reason I say that first is, as we know, Jadon Sancho's big hang up seems to be getting paid the money he's got on his contract. Napoli and Juventus both interested. He would be willing to go over to Italy. I think Juventus could probably get a little closer on his wages. United will probably have to give him a little bit of money when they sell him, but not too much. I think it's got a chance. We really only need like 15 million. If we can get 15 million pounds for him, and they can agree on personal terms over there, then that deal will get done, and it'll make a lot of space for us if that happens. So I'm pretty optimistic it'll go there. His options are thin, so
that's the thing, isn't it? The options just aren't there, because that's why I really did believe he would find a way to accept that Chelsea one, because I thought, well, they're just, that's the best offer you're going to get. Maybe not financially, but you could maybe make it up in terms of bonuses. It's very incentivized, isn't it? Their wage structure. But KG, do you think do you think Sancho leaves, or is it like the Rashford one where they're going, well, it might be a loan, never loan?
I honestly thought
they won't loan him.
I thought it was a loan situation personally, but it's good. It's news. It's sweet news to my ears if he does leave on and takes whatever he can. I'm ready for this thing to end. He's not happy. We're not, like, no one's happy in it. Let's just move on. That's why I would prefer, is he a good player? Yeah, he's talented. He's a good player. Italy will be great for him. The tempo, probably get back into the England team. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, man. Again, all these players, we got our own issues to worry about.
Oh, you nearly said bigger fish to fry, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't like the term. We got big issues because we failed last season. And we just need, we don't need to be worried about past situations. We all need to just be in one accord, everyone focused going this way, and can't be going into the season thinking about, what does Anthony want to do? What does Rashford want to do? Again, the Ruben line, players that want to be here is important to overturn how bad it was. It's the worst season we've ever experienced. They said it's the worst Man United side in Premier League history. This is the worst.
Yeah, or even, people were saying that even the ones that watched just get relegated in the 70s, they were saying that at least that team had a bit of fight about them. They weren't good, but at least they showed a bit of fight. Thought it was something you could really associate with this team last season, too. I do want to talk about, before we finish up, the whole striking situation, what it looks like this week, because it feels like every day this one goes one way, then it goes back the other way. One day it's like Gyökeres, talks are happening. Next day it's he's told Arsenal that his agents, that he wants priority there. Then the next day it's going, well, that's not necessarily turning down Man United. That's just saying, well, if Arsenal make a bid, I'm interested. Then it's Arsenal, they're not even really that interested. They're going to go after Šeško. Then they're interested in Gyökeres. And then you get into the Ekitike time when people are going, yeah, but 100 million euros, 22, you didn't even play for France yet. I'm not sure about that. James, are we going to sign a striker this summer, do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, even that rumours of
Mbeumo
and Cunha, they could play on Xerxes false 9. That's getting a bit too loud for me at the moment.
Yeah, I don't like that because I think it's nonsense. Striker was your number one target all year. It's the biggest problem. You briefed it left and right, January, February, March, April, May. Striker, number one target, main thing. You're making a huge compromise. You start moving Brian Mbeumo into the middle. He's not a big player. He plays bigger than his size, but he's not a big player. He's not going to be doing the same things that you would want. If you play Xerxes there, I like Xerxes a lot, but he's so far from the traditional 9 that Ruben Amorim likes. So you're starting to say, yeah, you do that thing we've been doing for years and years. You can't really play how you want to play because we haven't managed to get a player in the door that can let you play the way you want to play. And that is, we go into next season going more excuses, more problems, more like, we don't need a reason, a valid one. We don't need more valid reasons to play crappy football, right? We need reasons to play good football. And we don't need to sit there and go like, yep, we didn't have a right wing for 5 years. Yep, we didn't have a left back for 2 seasons. Yep, we don't have a striker again. And now you're playing a false 9, which was not the goal, not the idea, not what is wanted. So I don't like it. I don't think it's the intention. And I do think they will get to the striker situation this summer. But I also think it's a bit of a wait and see now kind of scenario where they can get Mbeumo done. They can work on these sales. And let's just play the field a little bit on this Gyökeres Ekitike thing. Does Arsenal really go in for them? Or do they go on for Šeško like everybody kind of thought they were going to? Does Ekitike's price come down? And if it does, are Liverpool instantly buying him? Because that might happen too, and that might take him off the table. We don't know. So it's a little bit wait and see there and see how it happens. And I think they'll probably start exploring a few other deals. I'm not saying we have to wait a long time. This can't get into August. We need a striker in preseason. We need a striker when they come to the States in a month from now. But I do think we're just letting it kind of sit while we get Mbeumo and these sales done, know how much money we've really got in the bank, know what we can do. And I would bet we'll explore a few alternatives and things like that in the meantime, just in case, to make sure we, no matter what, get somebody in the door that can play the way Ruben Amorim wants to play, because we can't go into the season without that.
KG, do you think we're going to end up getting a striker? I mean, at one point you had your heart set on, Osimhen.
And
that's not happening. You know, Gyökeres, who knows? How are you feeling about it?
Again, I was really happy to see Arsenal do the Zubimendi thing. I saw that and I thought, oh, yeah, okay, dope. Now they're making movement, so you're hoping that they're gonna select their striker. It's the same way how the Nico situation for Rashi happened. It's like, well, I'm not getting there. We don't hold the cards to where Gyökeres goes at the moment. So, but he's still a high target for us, right? So as soon as Arsenal decide it's Sesko or Gyökeres, because they're doing similar to what our club are doing, or similar to what every club's doing right now, playing people off each other. I heard someone say the smartness of it could be a ploy to get Napoli to move a bit faster on Jadon Sancho, to just say Juve's in the mix. So right now, we're waiting on Arsenal they're playing Sesko and Gyökeres off each other to decide. I don't think Brentford tried that with us and Tottenham. It didn't work because Mbeumo said, I want Man United. So there's no games to really play. Now it's let's work out a deal. I mean, just keep talking about, well, what's the perfect one where everyone walks away happy? That's where we really are now. I've heard other people talk about playing Bruno as the false nine. I don't know. Honestly,
compromises. Like, it's just huge compromises.
I don't know what to do, because you probably could do that because you want Bruno near the goal, closest to the goal as possible, right? Because everyone says he can't play the 8s or the 2 6s, and he's not playing in the 10s. You've heard people say that can be quite deadly in front of goal. I really don't want to go with a square peg in a round hole in this situation. I'd rather have a true striker. And like Rasmus struggled, I wouldn't want to go into next season with him as the only striker at the club. Yeah, I won't be right.
Peter Spinnerman for 3 months says, KG is right. He was walking around for us, went to Villa and started jumping for headers, but he did have a good career in context, referring to Marcus Rashford. Dwayne says, shout out to us, the fans. It feels like we're more united than the past few years, united till the end. B33 says, Emmy joins, but is MIA the first 3 games? But we will have a good mix of experience, World Cup, Champions League, Euro winners in the team. But can it be translated to the Premier League? Yeah, of course. Emmy Martinez got sent off against us last game of the season, so he would be missing for 3 games. And Jason says, finally, could we go for Šeško if he doesn't go to Arsenal? I suppose that's kind of what James's point was, is that it's still that striker market still yet to play. No one's really, apart from Chelsea getting the lap, no one's actually signed that striker yet.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like maybe United are looking to get Mbeumo done, then see what sales they can do.
I'm still thinking about Ollie Watkins as another option. I can't let that one go for some
I
reason.
would love that.
I'm still thinking about it. Because United have liked him. He's kind of available. He's on Arsenal's list as like their 3rd striker option.
I would take Watkins, you know.
If we miss, why not, man? Why not? The Aston Villa need to sell some players. They might want to take Garnacho back too.
Watkins. Absolutely. I wouldn't have any problem with having Watkins at this club.
Yeah.
He
fits. He's the right type as well. He's the right type of player.
Yeah, definitely. K-Flow says, as James said, I don't want to see compromises to fit players next season. It will be over quickly if we do that, play them in their natural positions. Well, we need to get the players in to do that, certainly, don't we? Big show, guys. Look at that. Where do we end up in terms of likes? We've still got over 1,500 people watching. We're nearly at 400. See if we can get to 500 likes on the way out. It's been a big show. We didn't even talk about likes or anything like that. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. Getting closer and closer to 200K across a big summer of Manchester United football. Of course, pre-season transfers. We'll have it all covered. Go share some love to KG Reckless Sports. I think you're going to be live in 15 minutes?
Yeah, live in 15.
Yeah, live in 15. So go show some love. KG gets closer to 50K. What's the number now?
On the road, man. I think I've got like 700 more to get or something. I'll get there.
Exactly. Absolutely, you will. So if you haven't already, go over to KG and give him a sub. And the same for James of the Muppeteers. You can go over there. How close is your goal now? Is it, James?
I'm 139 from 30,000. So we're
139.
Yeah,
Surely, folks, there is at least 139 of you that are here that aren't subscribed. You can go there now and go get the 30K for James of the Muppeteers. Yeah, it's excellent content. KG's locked in all the time.
What's your channel name?
My channel name's Wrestling News 365, and I'm like 1,500 away from 25k. So,
And you're doing, is it Raw tonight?
no, I've not making promises. Yeah, it should be too late. To be too late. But it's also going to be a big step. But one of the days I'm going to be streaming a Man United friendly and SummerSlam at the same time. I'm still figuring out how the logistics of how that's going to work, but we're going to try it. Two screens. It's going to be a big one. Anyway, guys, have a good Friday. Make sure you don't get too warm, too hot, too heated, and we'll see you again soon. We're out of here. Peace.